So we're headed back over to the auction to pick up the second bomb shelter I bought. It's not really a bomb shelter, but it's built tough enough it could be. It's a storage building. So got the first one already. We're headed back over to get the second one. And I thought I would use this trip to show you some upgrades I've done to this truck, because I've done quite a bit on it since the last time we kind of went over it. The most obvious one is those front tires right there. I put the super singles on the front. Huge improvement, but probably the biggest and most expensive upgrade is that little green sticker right there on the door. So we just stopped at this campsite here just off the freeway. Take a little break this morning. Already been driving for a bit, and we're gonna keep going, head over the mountain. Man, that thing looks so much better with those tires on it. And head to the auction, go over some of this stuff, and hopefully just have a good day cruising in the truck. All right, let's head back out on the freeway's right there. It's just a little offshoot that comes over into the woods here. Nice place to stop and take a break. It's not right on the side of the road, but not too far off of it either. And look at the view this morning. Perfect. So the green sticker on the side also goes with the apportioned license plates that are now on the truck. That's the IFTA sticker and IFTA registration, which is International Fuel Tax Agreement. And basically that means now I'm legal to run interstate. Not that I'm going to, like hardly ever. But I was intrastate registered, which means only in the state of Oregon. And it's a lot less paperwork that way, and I'm hardly ever going to go out of state, but I finally decided just to go ahead and do the interstate registration so that when I get a call to tow a truck back into Idaho or up into Washington, which I can do both of those and come back home on a legal day's driving hours. So I figured finally just do it. It's more paperwork, but whatever. Now when I get those calls, I don't have to try to get single trip permits to go do them, and if I need to do an overnight, something like that type of trip, I'm legal to do it. We made it. Let's go get our building. So this is our other building right here, so I'll get backed up to it and scoop it up. So although that little green sticker and new license plate up front are the biggest real change to the truck, visually, these super singles on the front. This truck is 12,000 on the front axle empty. It had normal 11R 22.5s on the front, which are good for 12,000. So you put anything on it, you're overweight. So right when I bought it, I immediately put 315s on the front, which gave me up to like 14.6, which this axle's all good. It's got a bigger axle in it, just had the small tires on it. I wanted to do the 385s right off the bat, but I didn't want to have to buy new rims, because you have to go to new rims to do these tires. And I finally went ahead and did it. And what caused me to want to do it is this right here. See, this right here is a new rim, because when I was doing an inspection on my truck, I found some cracks that were in the rim. I didn't film that, so these pictures right here will just have to do for now. I don't know what I caught of this earlier, but this rim, not this one, this is the new one, at every single lug nut all the way around the rim, and the cracks were growing towards each other. So if they would have met and cracked through, this whole outer part of the rim and tire would have left the truck, and this hub face would have stayed bolted to the truck, which is super not ideal. And the big tire outfits I called, and they were like a week and a half, 2 weeks out on getting a replacement rim, which is crazy talk, and I can't have this truck just sit for 2 weeks. So it ended up being Bend Commercial Tire, which is actually in Redmond. Called them, they had the rim I needed sitting on the shelf, totally ready to go. Brought it up the next morning, they swapped it out, good to go. I've cracked steer tire rims before, never a drive, so that was weird. But while I was there, speaking of finding rims, I asked them about a set of rims and tires for the front of this to go to these big super singles. and they were able to find me a used set of the wide base rims, which is perfect because I don't polish this truck out all polished and shiny. I'm never going to. I don't care about that. That doesn't impress me. I don't care for my truck to look like that. It's a work truck. Clean, yeah, I will never polish the thing. So having brand new shiny rims on the front would look odd with the rest of it. A set of used rims, much cheaper, made it worth doing this, and now it like matches. So that's something I've wanted to do since I got the truck. They found me a good set of rims at a good price, so I went for it. All right, we got to fill out some paperwork for this thing to get it out that gate, and then we will do that. Well, we got our gate release. We're out of here. We're hauling stuff out as other people are hauling stuff in for the next auction next month. And now, instead of going back towards home, we are going to head north for our next shenanigan of the day. I just stopped here at the scales to check weight. This one is 2,000 pounds heavier than the 24-footer we hauled last time. It's a little taller, but it doesn't have a dividing wall in the center, and it's 9 feet shorter, but it's 2,000 pounds heavier. That's 15,000 pounds. I would have never, ever guessed that. Well, another question I get, speaking of the IFTA stuff, why does my truck have 2 license plates on it? The white one on the bottom is my commercial registration that any truck has. In Oregon, you have to have a separate towing license to do towing and recovery work and business. And they have a whole separate license plate just for that. So that's my tow license and my commercial registration. And I have the same 2 plates on the back. They're just in different places on the back since there's not a good place to put both of them in one spot. So that's why I have 2 sets of license plates. All the heavy tow trucks in Oregon do. All right, up to the town of Clackamas we go. Oh, towing a truck with a camper shell backwards. Camper shell blows off. That's why you try not to do that if you can, and if you have to, you strap them down. Camper shells are made to go one direction, not the other. So we're all done here. We're just at Cascade Rigging up here in Clackamas, Oregon. They do all the brake testing and strength testing and ratings on all Yankum and many other people's gear as well. So I filmed some of the different configurations they use the gear in, like if it's to a soft shackle, if it's to this part of the soft shackle, if it's just a sling, if you tie the rope in a knot, stuff like that. You're not going to see any of that stuff in this video because to get an actual rating, they're breaking the same thing over and over again. I think 12 times is what Yankum's having them do, which is over the minimum requirement of 5. And then they get an average number, brake number, and then a minimum brake number, and then they calculate a working load limit off of that, or something like that. So we just went to that. It was super cool to go check out. I've been there for 4 hours, and I could probably hang out there for another 4 hours easily. Cool dudes, super cool machines. We got to see a bunch of stuff get broken, and you'll see the results of that later after they finish doing the repetitive part of it and then the calculation stuff. So I'm gonna head over the mountain with this thing and see how that goes. I was all bummed out about the hail hitting the roof of my truck, but then there's this poor guy. Oh man. It is the next, well, getting into evening now. I didn't film anything for the rest of yesterday or anything for all of today because sometimes you need to make videos and sometimes you just need to get some shit done. So I got this off and here and fairly level. I like this one. It's got the door, this little half door opens up to make it big enough to get stuff in and out. It's got the shelving all in it. I could probably get some fancy and hook those lights up, would be nice. Maybe switch them out to some LED, plug them into the shop over there.
Even got an eye wash station in it. This is going to store a lot of the gear and equipment and accessories and tools that are specific to this truck. So like my tire changing tools, the extra underreach attachments and type of stuff that I don't need on a particular job. While staying here, all the oils for it and spare chains and binders and all that stuff will all live in here. And this will basically be my truck shop. And then I can just pull right here, do what I need, and off we go. But back to the rest of the stuff I did to the truck that I was updating you on yesterday and completely forgot to continue updating you on. Probably the biggest one is this whole toolbox mess that I hated how my tools were laid out in here because it killed basically both of these boxes just for hand tools. I mounted these up here, and now all my hand tools, there's 1/2-inch drive sockets and a couple of the extra 3/8 sockets, pliers and Allen wrenches, screwdrivers, random junk drawer like every toolbox needs, wrenches and stuff. But anyway, all my hand tool stuff is up here now. I do still need to make like a bracket that holds this in place, like maybe these drop down into. I was thinking above it, making one that my sheave head attachment back there hangs on, so both of those sit right here and stay out of the boxes. This box now, look how these are still kind of a mess over here, but look how much more room we have. We got the big sledgehammer in here now, big pry bars and stuff. We've got spare nuts and bolts, glad hand stuff, air stuff. This is all air fittings that are different for doing airline repairs. A bunch of the self-retracting ratchet straps. This is to pull axles, goes in the hubs, catch the oil, all that stuff. But so much more room in here. This one, I took the one toolbox out, and now my driveline bag goes in here. This one has everything I need in it to pull drive lines, all the different driveline sockets, my cable ties I tie them up with, rubber gloves, electrical tape for taping the caps, and basically I can grab this bag, go underneath the back of a truck, and have everything I need to pull a driveline in like 90% of cases. A couple of small wheel chocks just to, like, when I go under a truck or start to lift it or whatever, I like to chalk the wheels, like the one I'm towing, not this one. So these are right here, just quick and easy to grab to chalk it so it doesn't roll away. 3 different sizes of airline here. This is all DOT approved. Truck airline, basically all the common sizes you'll see on different truck systems, and that other box in there is all the different push lock connectors, so I can do airline repairs on the spot if needed, or tie into air systems on trucks. Hand cleaner, some fluids and sprays, and extra plastic bags for U-joint caps and stuff. These blocks are still here, but now this toolbox basically carries stuff I rarely need. I don't know why that's all in there. I guess it carries pretty much nothing, but stuff I hardly ever need in there. There is like electrical testers in there, and there's some electrical wire up there, and connectors, and cut-off wheels for the grinders, and sawzall blades for the sawzall, and other such things. This whole space, still got nothing going on here. This is that new rim that got swapped out for the broken one. All the others were good. This is something I did, is my big wheel chocks that I use for this, for like winching on ice and all that, sit right here now on these holders. You just pop this off, those slide up out of there and go right under the wheels, so there's not having to like unstrap them and carry them down from up there. They're right here. There's 2 more on the other side of the truck, exactly the same, to go under the other side. And then as we move back, I ordered a toolbox that goes right here, because this and this stay stationary. The bed goes over the top, and there's a toolbox that fits this space. These I don't need for the rest of the year until next winter. They can go somewhere else once I do. I didn't even use them at all this winter after I got the auto chains. Once I got those, I never used those again. So toolbox here will be much more useful. See, this thing right here is the sheave head that I want to make another spot for right there. Another toolbox is going to go right there. It's a 24-inch space. Well, 24-inch toolbox fits in there, so it'll match the other side. There's the wheel chock hangers, just like on the other side. Everything's the same here. That's a 48-inch box. Well, it's two 48-inch boxes right there. So basically I'm gaining, by putting those two there, I'm gaining a whole nother box worth of storage back there. And my idea is to get all of the ratchet straps and stuff out of here. A lot of the lightweight stuff to go in the back. And the idea is to keep all the heaviest stuff you have up front on the front axle, so that when you're towing, you have as little weight as possible back here and as much weight as possible back here to kind of counteract the teeter-totter effect. Here, just whipped up a quick little cheap rack to hold the binders so they don't get buried under the chains in there and become a pain to pull out. All the chains are still there for now. I want to build an actual chain rack right here that goes across the front of the bed and is mounted to the bed to get all the chains off of that and mounted to the front of the bed here. Because when you slide the bed back, tilt it down, take all your chains off of whatever it is, unload, all your chains are on the bed. It's super nice, just walk up the bed and hang up your chains. But the problem is your chain rack is all the way up here on the truck when the front of the bed is actually up back here. So you have to bring the bed all the way forward and all the way in so that you can put your chains up. So I want all those to basically be just like that, but down here. Then I would like to get rid of this headboard and put an enclosed headboard on here. I have the room for it, plenty of room for it, but do an enclosed headboard here with the roll-up door, and then all of like my frame forks, my fifth wheel attachment, the other piece to that, a lot of that heavy stuff like that, the sledgehammers, the big pry bars, everything like heavy will go in that headboard up here, way up towards the front of the truck to help put weight on the front of the truck. And that'll give me a ton more storage. Now, if you're wondering why I'm trying to get so much more storage out of this thing, it's because I want to take those boxes, that one, on each side off and get rid of them. So my goal is to be, by adding those two boxes and adding an enclosed headache rack, I will have to do something with the exhaust. I haven't quite figured that issue out yet. But by doing all that, I want to be able to remove that box and the one on the other side and still end up with the same amount, if not more, actual cubic feet of storage. Now, the reason for wanting to remove this forward box would be to remove that box. I don't know if I'd need to slide this one back or not, but then put a drop axle right here up front. That box I don't know if I'd be able to keep there or not with the drop axle, because the goal would be to get it up as far as you can, a steerable drop axle. And then this truck would be a 4-axle truck with a drop right there. And that way when you load stuff on the bed, like reach forklifts, boom lifts, all that stuff, everything, when you load those on the bed, the counterweight, because you load them backwards, ends up way up here, where you're putting most of the weight up here. So this is where you want the drop axle to help support. And then when you're towing off the back, by lifting this drop axle up, that's an extra probably 2,000 pounds, close to, that you're hanging from the frame of the truck up here to act as counterweight in front of the drives. If you put a drop axle back here, when you're towing, if you push that drop axle down, all it does is just lift up even more on the front of the truck because of the teeter-totter effect. And when you have it up, you have that extra 2,000 pounds hanging on your drive that you're already pushing your weights on. So drop axle up there on this particular truck makes the most sense. So yeah, long story short, more boxes there, slide those ones back, probably take that front one off, put an enclosed headache rack on it, put a drop axle in the front, end up with kind of the same amount of storage and an extra axle on here. That was the easy way of saying that. But yeah, that's some of the upgrades I've made to the truck. The tires are the biggest visual difference and they look awesome. But the interstate license plate and the little green IFTA sticker right there are really the biggest actual improvement to it, because I can go wherever I want now. I'm not stuck just to Oregon, even though I want to stay mostly in Oregon, but I don't have to, is the idea. So this thing needs a bath, especially after these last couple days. So I'm going to do that. Thanks for watching. See you next time. 69, 70.